We are live. Hey, everybody. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm sore. Tired.
I feel much better than I did yesterday. I was feeling that same way yesterday. Just really, I had low energy, had a hard time. I feel much clearer today, so I'm happy about that. How are you guys feeling this morning? It's Tuesday morning. We're just at the beginning of our week. That's exciting. And I have a question for you. Have you ever found yourself saying, and this is a good question for you too.
Okay.
Have you ever found yourself saying, oh, I can't wait till I get a tan, I'll be happy. I can't wait till I get on the road with our Airstream, we'll be happy then. I can't wait to make my first $1 million, then I'll be happy. Can't wait to whatever.
It's an easy thing to say.
Get some flowers this weekend because it's spring. I'll be happy. You're thinking about it in the wrong way. The happiness comes first. And I actually came across this couple of years ago. I used to be a Beachbody coach, and we went to a Beachbody seminar in Indianapolis. And this is actually a really funny story. I was at the airport. It was a long flight, and I had to find a book to read at the airport. So I'm searching through the bookstore at the airport, and I spent a lot of time. I just didn't pick a random book. Way in the back shelf was this little book. It's a bright yellow book, and it's called Happiness. And it was by Sean Achor. And I'm like, first of all, that sounds really cool. I love the color of the book, and just something, I don't know, grabbed me. So I bought the book, got to the hotel. The next day or 2 days later, when we were, they have a guest speaker at one of the days. We were there 3 or 4 days. And I'm sitting in the seat, and they announced the guest speaker. It was Sean Achor, featuring that same book that I picked up in the airport. But my point is the book is really cool because it talks about happiness comes first. You choose to be happy first. Then that is what you attract, is the things that you want. That's what comes from law of attraction, which is totally working out for us. So you choose the happiness first. You don't wait until you get the thing and rely on the outside thing, whatever it is. It could be what I just said. We were saying this the other day. Oh, we can't wait till we get a tan. Get some color because we live in the Northeast, and we haven't seen the sun in a while.
A long time.
Yeah. But a lot of people, and if you think about it, really think about it, we are conditioned to want to wait or to find our happiness in something attainable on the outside of ourselves, when really the happiness is within us the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We could be sitting with nothing. I'll bring this.
It's all over the world.
Well, our mentor, Master Sri Akarshana, is a mentor of ours, and he went to Africa years ago, and he made millions of dollars. He made a lot of money at a very young age. He had a restaurant chain, so but he found himself really unhappy even after making all that money, and his restaurant chain was a great success. So he decided, somebody invited him to Africa to work with some kids, and he gets there, and these kids have nothing, absolutely nothing, playing in the dust and dirt. They have nothing. But he said they were the happiest people that he knew in his entire life. He couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. And then that right there, then and there, he discovered that and found that happiness doesn't come from outside things. Losing weight. Oh, I'll be happy when I lose that 5 pounds or 15 pounds. I'll be happy when I get my eating under control, or whatever it is. I'll be happy when I get that new dog or cat. It doesn't come from outside stuff. You're looking in the wrong place. That's you experience happiness first, and then whatever you want, whatever you have in your mind, whatever you have in your heart will come to you the way it's supposed to. So it's something interesting to think about today. How do you think about that? Have you found yourself thinking that unconsciously? We're really, this society is, we're conditioned to think that way. And you see it on commercials, oh, we're at the beach, now we can be happy. No, we can be happy before we get to the beach. And then we're really happy when we're at the beach. But something to think about. I catch myself doing it too. It is a mindset change in how you think about things. But you can be happy now. It's choice that you make. Things don't make us happy. We make ourselves happy inside first.
There you go. You want to identify as something? Identify as happy.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. So happy I'm happy to have you here with us, but I was happy before you came too. So we have Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Good morning. We have Alan. Good morning. We're going to get started with Sensei David Hill's the warm up of the year. And you can just slow up any way you want. You don't have to follow us exactly. Just letting you know. So if you want to do something different for a while, if you can, but this is kind of fun doing it all together. So let's get started. Everybody up off their seats. And doing the hops. Now on this one, I've said it a million times, but I'll say it again. You just want to drop your shoulders down. Now just let everything loose. This is just an easy warm-up just to get, the blood going, our heart pumping, our bodies moving, so that we can swing the kettlebell, work our bodies, get ready for our day. And you don't have to hop. You can just do this as well. And karate chop, or drop down hands, or wicking water off your fingers, whatever you want to call this one. Same thing. Just want to let your shoulders, let your arms go. You'll just bend your knees slightly. Just getting inside out. Heart opener is one of my favorites because when we open our arms, we can literally feel the gratitude for everything that we have in our lives. And as we come across, we tap our bodies. Which is a qigong practice that wakes up our skin, our cells, our nerves, gets our blood going. And also the feeling of gratitude for wherever we are at in our lives and the things that we have, whether it be challenges, whether it be really cool things that are happening to us, is important as well. Are you concentrating on the negatives, or are you concentrating on the positive things that you have in your life? Because if you look around, you'll see, even with the challenges, that we are so fortunate to be alive in this universe, in this world, in these days and times. We don't really have anything to worry about, honestly. Not compared to a lot of other times in human history. There's no dinosaurs coming after us. There's no.
We're in the most peaceful time in human history.
Yeah, there's no other.
Most prosperous.
Yeah.
Least amount of famine. Least amount of people living in poverty. Least amount of war. And
living in the U.S., we have so much to be grateful for. We do live in a free country. We want to keep it that way. So, you want to make sure that you're living up to that standard as well. The government doesn't run us. We run the government.
Yeah, the government is us.
They work for us. So, but anyway, we are just really fortunate to be able to get up and work out together as well. This is another really cool thing, to have internet and to have, we're live working out. It's really cool. We didn't have this a few years ago. And now we're doing move it or lose it move, hip rotation. This is kind of a fun one because you can draw a circle on the floor with your hip and really get a good stretch. Doing the Turkish get-up requires some hip mobility. So this is a really good one you want to pay attention to kind of get stretched out or mobilized here before we get started. I think that's part of why I have such a difficult time. I have a hard time with my hips anyway, but if I'm not properly warmed up, it's even more difficult. Knee rotation, just an easy warming up of the knees and the ankles. You can incorporate your ankles in this. Lift your toes up slightly. And I even stretch my toes. You can, as you're standing up, just lift your all 10 toes up and then put them down. Lift your toes up and put them down. And we are barefoot. We talk about this a lot too. And the reason is you want to, when you're stabilizing your body, you want to grip the mat or the floor with your toes, and you'll get used to doing that. Walk barefoot. I'm barefoot most of the time these days. If you're able to walk barefoot a lot during the day, do that. Walk outside, be in the grass, watch out for ticks. That's the only thing I think of when I'm outside.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, so I'll hand the floor over to Sensei David Knowles now. And we'll get started with our workout.
Now, I want to go over a detail real quick, and that is seating the shoulder. I want you to watch this. There are muscles deep inside here that connect your arm to your body. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to fire just the rotator cuff. Watch. See that? Release. Right? If I fire one or the other, you'll see the arm suck into the shoulder socket. If you can figure out how to fire the rotator cuff muscles independent of the rest of the musculature of the arm and shoulder, you will learn the key to never injuring or almost never injuring your shoulder. Because when we pick up something, first we connect, then we pick it up. I see a lot of people, especially you can see it when you're doing a pull-up. People will go, they'll do a pull-up, and then they'll go down, and then release their shoulders, and then connect them again, and then do the pull-up. Don't do that release. Keep the shoulders seated when you're under load at all times. So
it's a very subtle movement. So if you're looking at David and you're like, I didn't see a thing, try it with yourself. Just go.
Well, let's try it with the kettlebell right now. Put your feet on either side of it, fold at the hip and sit back. Reach down until you can just grab the handle. Now, you're going to seat your shoulder, pick it up, set it down, and then you can see, I can unseat my shoulder. I'm not going to pick it up that way, but unseated, seated. Unseated.
It's basically a clenching of the shoulder muscle.
Right.
And you'll feel it when you get used to doing it. When I go to pick up, I picked up that 40-pound bag of cement the other day. I literally first seated my shoulder, brought it in close to my body.
Absolutely.
And it makes a huge difference when you're doing something.
Many people do it already, but they don't do it consciously. We need you to bring that unconscious action to consciousness. So here we go. Feet on either side. Sit back. I tell people sometimes it's like making a fist at both ends of your arm. Grab the bell, squeeze, seat the shoulders, drive into the heels and pick it up. Now bringing it around the body, doing our orbits.
So with the orbits, you have your abs solidified. You have your toes like gripping onto the floor. You're breathing.
Other way. Five, 6, 9, 10. That's all right. Bring it to the bottom. Now we're going to do 20 swings. Here we go. Get the blood moving. 1, 2, 3.
And you're pushing with your hips. Your arms are coming down. And you.
10 more.
have my core tight, and I'm thrusting with my glutes and using my body to hoist the kettlebell up.
And set it down. Now, there's something I'd like to do today, which requires 2 kettlebells. So, Ms. Kendra, if you can
Oh, I'm worried he's bringing out 2 really big ones.
These are really big ones, but
We're not lifting them.
we're not lifting them. We're going to use them
Got it.
down here on the ground.
Okay.
And here's what I'd like you to do. We'll start with them a little bit towards the front.
You want to like shoulder width apart?
Yep. Shoulder width apart.
Okay. I'm going to watch you first.
And I'm going to do a plank right in front of them. And push it. Start with just this. What we're really looking to do is from here to here. It's a little difficult to do on the
mat.
mat.
You know what? You did it the other day. You had socks on.
I did, and I was on the floor.
Yeah.
So let's try this. Sit between the kettlebells. Put them here so that you're like doing a dip. And you can even put your hands on the ball if it's a little bit unstable. Try that.
I should have adjusted the camera.
Looks pretty good to me.
Okay.
So put your hands on the ball, yeah. Push yourself up. And down. Again. Now, try and pull your ankles towards you. Really lifting. And back down. So the first part is lifting with your arms. The second part, once your arms are straight, right? Now, pulling your hips back, there it is. And back down. Right.
So you're pulling your hips back. You're not rounding your back. You're bringing your hips back, and your psoas is engaging.
You're trying to bring your stomach to your thighs and back. Start with your arms straight so that you know you're doing it with the right muscle. Now, pull it in and send it back. Couple of them. You got it. Now, cross your feet. Okay. Now, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to lift. And this time, I can use my feet to help me so I can really get up high. Right? So I start with my arms straight and then and back. Feel how that allows you to fire a little bit further?
Yeah.
Right. Because what we're looking for here, we may not have the strength to bring our legs through and go to a push-up at the moment. But we're learning what we have to do. We're learning which muscles to fire.
I feel it in my core.
Exactly. So the more advanced version of this would be to come up, pick your feet up, and come through. Lift yourself, cross your feet, pull them through, do a push-up. There it is. Now, the most important thing is not to get your legs through. The most important thing is to do it right. So what we need to do, we're just going to do 5 more. Cross your feet.
So for me,
All right, here we go. Straighten the arms. Now lift. 1. Back down, keep the arms locked out straight. 2. 3, use your feet to assist. 4. 5. Good. There it is. That's the piece of it that I wanted to do today.
Okay. And then we'll add to that.
You certainly will.
As we go down.
You'll make your 12.
This one?
Down, yeah.
What's that?
So now that we have fired those muscles, we're going to fire them individually. So we set the kettlebell next to our right foot. We turn our feet 45 degrees to the right. Hand on the hip, other hand on the inside of the thigh. Hip back. Now you'll notice that when you do this, you are firing so as the same muscle you just fired to pick your hips and knees up, but instead of picking the hips and knees up, you're bringing the torso down. Same action, just a different perspective. So, down until your elbow rests on your knee. Reach down and grab the bell. Now, I'm not going to lift the bell. I'm going to fire to pull myself lower. And I want you to feel this deep in your core. Try and get your hand on the floor. Nice. Make sure your back leg is locked. Front knee is bent. A little further now. Come back up. Put the bell to the other foot. Feet towards it. Hand on the hip. Hand on the inside of the thigh. Kick your hip back. Make sure that the back leg is straight. The front knee is bent. I'm not curling my spine. I'm folding at the hip. Back is flat. Grab the bell. Now, fire those muscles and bring yourself lower. Hand flat on the floor. Fire some more. Release. Come back up. You're getting a lot more mobility that way, aren't you?
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm able to concentrate today.
Yeah.
Yesterday I couldn't concentrate.
One of the things that people don't understand is the word flexibility. It doesn't have anything to do with stretching. It has to do with muscle contraction. That's why it's called flexibility, not stretchability or whatever. It's if I want to get my glutes and back flexible enough to get lower, I have to fire these muscles hard enough to stretch these muscles.
You mean your psoas muscles?
That's right.
Yeah.
When I say these muscles, I'm talking about psoas. The ones that we were just firing, the ones that we did lifting our hips up, is the same muscle we're using to bring ourselves down, and the one we just did, psoas. That's the muscle that I'm talking about. That has to fire hard and complete in order to stretch the muscles on the other side, which is our glutes and our low back. So
let's do a quick review on what the psoas muscle is and where it's located.
the psoas muscle is the deepest muscle in the body. Muscles have an origin where they connect closest to the center of your body, and then an insertion, which is the furthest point away from your body. Psoas originates on the front, anterior aspect of the last couple of thoracic, which are the ones with the ribs, vertebrae, and then the first 3, I think maybe even all 5, lumbar vertebrae. So it's from here to here on the front side of your spine. It travels down, goes through the hips, and connects to the inside of the leg, the greater trochanter of the femur. When it fires, it brings the leg up or brings the torso down. It is a hip flexor. In fact, it's the most powerful hip flexor. If you go to the butcher shop and you order a tenderloin, that's what you're ordering. So
it's the only muscle in the body that connects both the upper part of your body and the lower part of your body together. And a lot of people, when they're working out, they're trying to get their abs all cute and ripply. They're just working the outside layer of their abs. The psoas muscle is what we use.
That's right.
For
moving the motion, the power and motion of the torso is generated by psoas. Abs are just there to protect your abdominal contents and be able to move to allow you to breathe and have your stomach expand as you eat and so forth. So ultimately, people have the wrong idea when they think of their abs as their core. Really, it's psoas that you need to identify and feel and fire purposefully, consciously. Okay, let's move on, shall we? I'd like to do some doubles.
Okay, I like doubles.
Let's start with heavy doubles. So we have another 12. Yep. So put the kettlebells side by side. You're going to stand in between them. Point your feet straight ahead or mostly straight ahead. Fold at the hips. Sit down. Firing so as to do so. Grab the handles of the kettlebell, pinky to the middle. Look forward. Tighten your core, seat your shoulders. Drive into the heels to pick them both up. Sit back. Don't touch the floor. Come near it. 2.
Squeeze your glutes as you come in. Come up and grab the floor with your toes.
Going to 20. 5 more. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Very nice. Woo!
Don't forget to breathe.
All right, we're going to do some heavy long cycle. So we're going to take these from a wider stance. Double rack. Sit back into your hips. Double press. Return to the rack. Swing. Rinse and repeat.
I just see.
Yeah.
What can you do to make the psoas muscles stronger?
The first thing for you to do when it comes to identifying or when it comes to strengthening a muscle is to identify it. You have to feel it. Now, it's one thing to talk about it and understand where it is. It's another thing entirely to actually feel it. So let's do this. Stand with all your weight on one leg and just touch the toe of the other leg. Take your hand and put it on top of your knee. Now I'm going to resist. I'm going to keep my arm straight. So I'm going to try and bring my knee up, but I'm going to resist it with this.
You can also do this sitting in a chair.
Absolutely, have a seat in a chair and do it.
Because I did a psoas workout, a psoas session with my yoga last week, before last, and that was one of the exercises that we did.
Sure.
We brought the knee up, and then you just put a little pressure on it as you're bringing the knee up.
Yep.
And you can feel it here.
Yeah, you'll feel it deep in your center.
Now, I will tell you that if you're just beginning to work your psoas muscle, it's a process. It takes time. It's taken me some time to be able to feel mine and to understand how it works.
We all do it and we all fire it, but the question is, are you consciously firing it, or is it just automatically firing based on a habitual movement pattern? When you can consciously fire it, that's when you can start to work on it and strengthen it.
There was another one that we did where we brought our knee up like this, clasped our hands, and then we bent the other knee slightly, and then you lean forward and you bring the right knee down to meet the left knee, and then you fire that one standing leg and you come back up. So that's another one, good one.
Absolutely.
And do both sides. So that's another one, Aaron, that you can do.
It's almost every movement you do involves psoas. You just don't know.
And continuing with kettlebell work will really work your psoas.
Nothing like kettlebell training to be able to do this. Okay, so bring the kettlebells close together. Feet on either side. Fold at the hip. Reach down, thumbs back, seat both shoulders. Now drive into the heels. Double rack. Back into the hips. Double press. Return. Swing. Rack. 2. 3. 4. 5. Pull it in. Set them down.
Ooh, that was hard.
Yeah, we're going to do one more set of those.
Oh, that is hard.
Yep.
I'm sweating. We're using the heavy ones.
One more set. Here we go. 1. 2. 3. 5.
That was hard.
We're good for today.
Okay, cool. That was tough. Challenging yourself a little bit also gets you to the next level, whatever that may be. Even if you only do 3, 2, it gives you a feel for what's coming next, and then you can dial back and develop that strength. But really, it's all, this doesn't happen quickly. You don't develop your psoas within a week. It's a process. There.
You know, something else about psoas. When I was in massage school, that's when I learned about this.
Wait, you do massages?
I do.
Oh.
And when it comes to working on the muscles of the body, some muscles are more sensitive to work on than others. There is no muscle more sensitive to work on than psoas. It is the deepest muscle in the body. It holds your oldest memories, personally and collectively.
Yeah.
It's the origin of the structure of the human body, or rather, it's the first developed piece. So, beware.
Well,
there's some deep, dark secrets hiding in a lot of people's core muscles.
And here's the thing, when you're doing this kind of workout, if you feel emotional, if you feel energy coming out in the form of crying or laughing or whatever it is, though that is energy that you've stored in your body. And we store a lot of emotions, feelings from trauma, from things that have happened, from sadness, from things that we don't want to deal with, we store them in our body. And the psoas muscle is one of those that we store all of those feelings and emotions. So when we work out like this, we're literally relieving our body of those emotions so that we can let the happiness that we talked about earlier come into our bodies and feel the happiness instead of that subconscious feelings that we have hiding in there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We could probably stay here for a couple of hours talking and giving information, but we're so grateful that you joined us. Hope you got something out of this session today. If you did, you can pass it on to someone else if they could use it. And if you want to join us, we're here every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Sending love. Take care.